Hello, my friend. Neera
Hi.
Mahajan is here. And Neera is a friend of mine that I never met, but I consider you a friend. We met probably a year ago on LinkedIn. And we were both writing on LinkedIn, trying to establish a voice and figure out what we're doing for this last chapter. And she started writing on my post, and I started writing on hers, and somehow a friendship blossomed. She even came to the United States last year, although we didn't get a chance to meet. But so Neera is, well, I'm very impressed with Neera, which is why she's here today. She is retired, but she's also the author now of 5 books that she's written since she retired. She can fill us in on how long it took her to write those books, but she founded something called Everything is a Book on Substack, which is a source for writers, inspiration, information, and how to self-publish books. She ghostwrites business stacks for nonfiction authors and coaches. And in her spare time, which I can't imagine that you have any spare time, but she likes to sketch, and I know she loves to travel. So, Neera, why don't you share with us the time frame? So you retired at what age, and then when did you get started on this journey that you're on right now?
Yeah. So first of all, hello. Hello to your listeners. Um, so I retired. I don't call it retirement because it wasn't. It was specifically meant to be a next phase of my life. And I was in a corporate job, public service at that time, and on a senior management position. And I was earning well, doing well, everything was going well, but I wasn't satisfied. I just wanted to do other things. So as
Well,
soon
first of
as
all, let's back up a minute. I
Mhm.
know that you are not a native English speaker and that you moved from India to Australia. So Mira is in Australia right now, and she worked a corporate
Yeah.
job. And
Yes. So I moved from India to Australia about 37 years ago now. And so I've spent more years in Australia than I have in India. So you can call me pretty much a native of Australia. And yeah, so I was in a job and I wanted to do other things. And one of them was writing. And I'll talk about writing, how I got into it a bit later, but I just want to specify that I could have kept on working until the age of 60 easily. But I decided at 57, enough. My daughters got married, they left home. I had free times. I had nothing to bind me to the job. So I just resigned, quit.
were they surprised?
Uh, Probably they saw it coming in the last few months because I wasn't in it. I wasn't mentally in the job. I was just doing the things, but I wasn't excited by it anymore. So, and then from there on, I took on a journey of which I knew only one thing, that I wanted to write. Not because writing was my strength or something I wanted to do ever since I was a child, but because writing was my weakness. Once, when I started working as a middle level manager, on my first performance review, my boss told me the only thing standing between you and senior management position is your written English. And I took it as a challenge. I said, okay, I'm going to improve my written English. So I joined writing groups and I started
Writing what? I'm sorry, you joined what?
writing groups.
Oh, writing groups. Okay.
Yes. And I started writing life stories in there rather than business writing. I was writing all the stories from my life and learning the language and falling in love with the language and self-expressions and things like that. that did in turn improve my written English, business English as well. And I did manage to get to senior management level.
Well, how old were you when you did this?
So it was around 43, 44 sort of
Okay.
age. So I've been
And
in this.
how long did it take you to become a manager then, after you improved your writing?
About 4 or 5 years
Oh,
to the
okay.
senior management level. Yeah, because that's not the only factor. Writing is not the only factor. Means you got to perform at
Correct.
work as
Yes.
well. And I was very good in other areas. I was very productive. I was a team person. I used to lift my teams up, and um, I was, and I would get along with anybody, even the nasty ones. So that few strengths took me to the place I was able to get to. But that's at that time I was actually so much becoming fearless with writing. When you start writing, you are able to express yourself, and you are also able to discover yourself. And I was discovering myself through the act of writing. I was journal writing, I was writing in the writing groups, and I was doing different projects in there. And all those things helped in
So you were gaining
molding my.
confidence and some good feedback from other people, or
Correct.
not? Yeah.
Yes, yes. And I knew at that time I'm not still good enough. But little encouragement helps a lot. Then you do a bit more, better and better and better. And that's how it grows. So in the writing groups, it was the right environment. So we would meet in my 5 or 6 ladies. We would meet in our house. We'll all write a piece before once a month, and then we'll read it to each other, and we'll all give feedback to each other. Not how good the piece is or what's lacking and all that, but the story we are telling and how we are um, like how sharing life experiences of that story. Other people will tell their experiences on that point, and we'll all share. And we were growing through that group.
So that
And
kind of turned you on to writing, is
that
just
turned me on to writing. And that showed me how little inspiration with on to the new writers, how much they can grow with that, how much they can learn with that. It is there's no it's not academic, it's not innate skill. It is something you can develop with practice. Anybody can do that. Anybody who wants to can do that. So
right.
here I am in front of you. So I'm 62 now, and in 5 years I have grown like 40 years. I haven't grown that much. So
So
all due
just
to
since
writing.
retirement, we'll just call it retirement. I know you don't like it, but since you ended working till
Yeah,
now, you feel like your personal development has grown exponentially more than your whole career.
correct, correct.
Wow. Wow.
Yes. So these 5 years have been highlight of my adult life. I can
So at
easily tell
some
it.
point then, after when you quit, when you were 57, did you say,
Mm.
yeah, I'm going to start writing, or weren't you sure what you were going to do?
So yeah, I only knew one thing I wanted to do. I wasn't sure all other things that followed, or I didn't even know about them. So all I wanted to do was I wanted to start a blog and start writing. So a year ago, like 2018 July, the day before my father died, I actually bought a domain name of my name, neeramahajan.com. And I wanted to start blogging there. And I wanted to write like whatever I could at that stage. I wanted to write in that blog. But with the job and with my family, because I had ailing parents and parents-in-law in the house, my time was so limited. I could only write little bit, and And also my skill wasn't that good for public reading. Like I was writing for the writing groups and all that. But when I came to writing a blog post, it would take me 6 or 7 hours to write 2 or 3 paragraph long blog post. It was so painful, but joyful at the same time. So once I would put it
It's
up,
painful. Why was it painful? Because you had difficulty expressing
and
yourself?
it was painful because I didn't know what I wanted to say
Oh, okay.
to others, and B, I didn't know but how to say it. I was so unsure, like w- going into all those sort of things, finding your voice, writing for the readers, all that, having a niche, selecting topics. I mean, there is so much information I was reading, and I was trying to convert it into what I was doing, but I wasn't able to. So,
So
but
you're sort of
when
overwhelmed by everything you didn't know, and
everything
then
what I was reading and trying to learn and do it, so
yeah.
there wasn't it wasn't easy to implement what I was learning. But the only way to go through was keep doing it. And the good thing is when you're starting to write initially, nobody's reading you, so it doesn't even matter. I learned it a bit later.
That's true. That's true. There are no, you do all
You-
that blood, sweat, and tears, and there's nobody reading you.
Correct. Correct. So I did that, and it took me about 18 months actually to um, get confident in writing blog post, and I reduced the time 6 or 7 hours to down to 2 3 hours, and I was able to do um, mm, like 700 800 words posts in that time frame. And then I'm very good at setting myself uh, impossible challenges. So
Yeah,
I
I
set
noticed that. I'm like, what is she doing now? What does she have more than 24 hours in a day? I want to know how, well, we'll get to how come you're so productive, but let's just stay on the path here. So you're blogging and then you were just kind of winging it, as we say in the US, winging it, seeing what happens, and then
Mm.
what happened next?
So I started blogging, and that's what I was doing mainly on my own blog, neeramahajan.com. And then I discovered one day Medium, and I read some articles there, and I learned that you can create an account there, and you can start writing there. And that was just the beginning of pandemic, and I don't know, it was the emotions of the time. I just wrote a post there, what should a writer do in times like this? It just came to me, and I said, means all these things. It's our writer's responsibility to bring hope to the world, and this is how you can do it. And I just narrated so many things that was good things that was happening at that time, and I wrote that post, and then I forgot about it and never went back to it. I think about 3 weeks after or something, I said, okay, I'll go and see what's happening there, whether I can write over there another one. Now I went there, and there were so many people who has sent likes there and comments there. And I said, oh my God, people are reading this stuff. I got to write here rather than my blog. Nobody reads my blog, but people are
Right,
reading here.
right. Okay,
So
so
I
you
started
really
writing a
switched
Medium.
over. Mm-hmm.
Yes. So that was my next step
Okay.
of my thing. So wrote on Medium for about 3 years, I think. And there come the point, I'll tell you, the challenge I set myself was that at one point when I wasn't thinking I wasn't growing as a writer, and I was taking too much time to write posts. And I was all I was trying to do was 2 posts a week. And even that was not possible. So I said, I'm going to write 1 post a day for 100 posts.
So 2 posts weren't possible because you were writing too slow.
Two
Is
posts wasn't possible because don't pin yourself on the chair and sit down and write it. But when you need to write a post a day, it happens.
Okay.
That's the biggest learning of my writing career. When you want to do a thing every day, when you want to do a thing, do it every day. It doesn't happen if you want to do it once a month or once a week or
So it's
whatever.
the consistency, putting yourself out
Correct.
there. And were you
Yes.
scared when you would write stuff? Were you feeling nervous? Like, oh, should I say that? Did you have any kind of feelings of fear?
All the time.
Okay.
Um, yeah, so this is the another thing I discovered. You start with the easy stuff and then you move on to the harder one later. So easy stuff, okay, done, out of the way. And another thing is there's so much things which is percolating in me. It comes when we talk about it. I learned somewhere, if you write what you are learning, you write with more passion and you learn the things better. And as I was learning to write, so I was writing about writing. And
So
that's
you were
what.
teaching yourself, and they're like, in other words, hey, I just learned this, and then you wrote about it.
Correct. And I was writing about it in the voice that's as if I'm the authority. I know everything. Because that gives you confidence as well.
Mhm.
And I wasn't doing it intentionally. I was doing it because everybody else was doing it as well. And I learned they are all winging it. So I might as well. So I was writing all this stuff. And by the time you do that, you become an expert in it anyway. So I had written by this time about 300 articles
How
on my
many?
blog. 300.
Mhm.
Now my count is in 600 or 700 articles I have already written. But at that time, when I was writing about writing, I had learned enough from my personal experiences as well. And I was learning from outside, from my reading as well, from other people's experiences as well, reading books, joining courses, blah, blah, blah. So I had plenty of material, and slowly, the fear goes away. Initially, you think you're not afraid of saying all those things. What you feel the fear is your personal stuff, your personal stories. Some of them you don't want to share early on because you have never voiced those stories before.
Mhm.
And but when you slowly start saying them, and that makes you feel less. That is very important lesson I learned, that more you share your vulnerabilities, more you get rid of them, and you
Mhm.
become stronger and fearless person because of that. You're not afraid of it anymore. It doesn't hold power on you.
Right, right. And it actually helps other people not feel so alone, for one thing. Like when I read, stuff that you write, well, oh, she's feeling that way. I feel that way too. So I'm not by myself. There's other people, and it's normal. It's normal. And it makes you feel, like I said, less alone
Hmm.
and empowered, right? You empower other people when you say things, the way that you do.
Correct.
So what happens then? So all right, so now you're on Medium, you're writing, and then you're writing about writing. And
Hmm.
then what happens? Because
Then
now
what
you're
happened?
like a writer about writing still to this day. So
Yeah.
tell us how
So,
you
so
got
then
there.
I discovered social media. So I was not on Facebook. I had an account, never would go on it because I didn't like what was being written there. But then I discovered LinkedIn. And I liked reading stuff on there, and I wanted to. And everyone was saying, you want to grow your readership, you got to write on social media and this and that. So I thought, okay, I'll try social media. I did 2 or 3 stints on myself, like writing consistently for 30 days, then 90 days, and 100 days. I did that, and I was all over the place. I had no direction, and then at the time, there's hi,
You made
you know
friends.
him,
You made
a
friends.
friend,
Yes.
yes, Tom Kugler.
Yes.
He he was actually, I bought his Medium course, which helped me so much
Oh, did it?
get established on Medium. So when he announced that he's going to run a course on LinkedIn, I hopped in quickly and I joined. So we did a 30-day challenge to write every day, and he was providing feedback and we were reading each other's stuff and all that. And that opened up the world for me. And I know that you also joined one of his sprints
Awards, yeah.
later on. And that sprint was meant to me more than one way, because during that sprint, I announced and launched my first course, How to Write a Book in 30 Days.
That's right.
So, but going backwards a little bit, while I was writing on Medium, I went there I was doing my 100-day writing a article a day. During that time, I actually wrote a book in 1 week.
I'm sorry, say that again.
I wrote a book in 1 week. I wrote and published.
A book. How long was the book? How long was the book?
Book was 100 pages, 106 pages. And it was how to write and publish an ebook in 1 week. And
So
I
you
did
actually
that.
wrote a book in 1 week, and then you wrote a book about how to write a book in 1 week, correct?
No, I wrote that book in 1 week, and I shared my journey on Medium.
Okay.
And
On
whatever.
Medium or LinkedIn?
No, it was, I went back. So before I went
you went back
before
to
that.
okay, sorry.
Yeah, so I did that. I wrote that book, and during the 100 article challenge. And and then I turned that book into a course during Tom's sprints.
Okay.
And I announced that, and I said, okay, I'm running the course for free for the first cohort, and 20 people joined.
Oh, I know.
And I hadn't even converted that course book into course yet. I just announced it. When 20 people joined, I thought, oh my God, I have to now create it. So I did that in about 3 or 4 days. And I had no experience of recording or speaking in to the camera and all that. But because there were people waiting, I had to do it.
See, this is what I love right here. This whole thing that she just what do you call it? Ready, aim, shoot. When you go
Yeah.
ready, shoot, aim, right? You're like, oh my gosh, right? Oh, so
Yeah.
okay. So then 20 people joined, and then you had to create the course. Is that what happened?
I had to create the course in 3 days because I have given the date in
Right.
there. Silly was of me.
And they weren't even paying you. They weren't even paying you.
No,
And you're
no,
like,
they were not
oh,
even paying me. No.
right.
But they have paid me in more than one way.
Yes, yes.
They have become my friends. I share my life with them. They share their life with me. We are like all binded. And
Yes.
and the good part is many of them have written their books after, if not in 30 days, afterward they published, and some have gone on to write more than one book.
I know one person in particular, you just like, she wrote the book, she wrote another book, she's ready to write a third book. I mean, you set her up for a great path.
Yeah. And that's what excites me. That's the thing I wanted. What could be a better use of your life than to be able to set someone else on the path?
Right.
That's where I come
So
from.
even if our listener is not interested in necessarily learning how to write, but just the fact that they would help someone else because they've had an experience, and then they carry them along, that is what is so altruistic about. You didn't really mean to do that, but it just worked out that way. And
Just worked out.
yeah, I mean,
And it doesn't have to be writing. Could be anything.
Yes, could be anything. Right. All right, so you started this course by the seat of your pants, basically. They all go through it. They're now doing writing. And then what happened next?
What happened next? Okay, so then somewhere in there, Substack came into my horizon. And I was doing a newsletter through my blog, but 20-30 people, half of them was family, they were getting the newsletter. And I learned about Substack from one of my follower in Medium, and he introduced me to it, and I said, okay, this is a very neat and very easy platform. Maybe I should start sending my newsletter through there. And
Well, I'm
I
just
was,
curious, what year is this? Do you remember?
so it's been 3 years I've been doing Substack.
Okay. All
So
right, so 3 years.
go back 2020 probably. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and I started in November, I think, in last week of November, and then I did three issues in December, something like that. And then I did it. And since then, I haven't missed a single week on Substack. And I started writing newsletter through Substack. Loved it because the platform is so easy to use. I was using MailChimp before, and that was pain. If
What was it
anybody
before?
MailChimp,
Oh,
Mail,
MailChimp. Yeah.
yeah. And that was a pain. So this was a pleasure. So I just went from there, just writing anything which comes to mind. And mostly it used to be inspirational stories and explaining concepts and writing a bit of the writing articles and anything. And it started resonating with people, and I had no idea how to grow my Substack. I wouldn't put it on on any of my social media platform. I had no plan, no nothing. I was just doing things, whatever comes to my mind, I would do
Yeah,
it.
and let's just talk about that. Not knowing, how comfortable did you feel not knowing what you were doing? And how did you deal with winging it? I'm going to say winging it because I mean, you were doing what I was doing. Like, I'll just
Hmm.
write, see what lands, right?
Yeah,
See what people
I,
like.
I would say I'm very comfortable with that. I
Mhm.
think it takes the pressure off you. You're just winging it. Or rather, winging it is not the right word. Probably you're just exploring. You're
Exploring. It's nighttime here. I'm just turning up the lights because it's morning in Australia and it's night here. So go ahead. Sorry about that.
yeah, yeah. So you are in exploration phase. So you just do things and see, okay, let's see where it takes me. Let's see what I'll learn. Let's see what I can do with it, sort of thing. And you just do that. And then, according to there is exploration and exploitation principle, which Austin Kleon talks about, and which I wrote about in my Substack, one of Substack issue as well. So you start exploiting what you have learned, what you have explored. And I think I came to that exploitation part just 4-5 months ago, when I worked with another Substacker, Sarah Fay.
Mhm.
And she's helping other Substackers to find purpose of their newsletters and working them, showing them how to get it working. And she's got a bit more knowledge. And I think I had nowhere else, like Substack doesn't have a team who could help people and things like that.
It doesn't,
So
well, neither does Medium. Medium doesn't have anybody
no,
either.
no,
You
it's
have to literally read what other people write about it so you can figure it out. Yeah.
yeah. You learn from others, basically, or people who are doing it, or probably 1 or 2 steps ahead of you. So I just set up a meeting with her. Actually, you have introduced me to her,
Right,
or
Sarah.
you introduced her to me.
Yeah, I found her.
You said
Yeah.
you said go and talk to her, and you
Yeah.
will probably benefit from it. And which was such a good idea, because I booked a meeting with her, and within 5-10 minutes of talking to her, she told me, your passion is in self-publishing books. And I said, yes,
Well,
I
it's
would
nice when
love to do
someone
that.
else can see that. Yeah, and they can help you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's
Yeah.
good.
And I said, okay, I see a book in everything. And I say, everything is book in for me, because it's just like photo albums. When you collect a certain number of photos, it becomes an album. If you collect certain number of information about something, it becomes a book. It could be information about your life. It could be information about your profession. It could be information about your recipes, anything. It's a
Anything
book.
can be a book. It's a
Yeah.
book.
It's a book.
Everything is a book.
Everything is a book.
Right.
So
And
that's
that's so inspirational to me just to hear you say that, because like all the things that happened to me and the things that I want to do and the interest that I have, it's so easy to make a book now. It's so
yes,
easy. And I
it is.
mean, we have all the tools. Now, I say it's easy, but it's not easy, because that's why, people like you who now write books have some knowledge that help people like me who haven't written a book. But there's just no obstacles. There's no excuses. All you need is a helping hand, really. And
Mm.
someone like you, recently you wrote on Substack, which I thought was so good, was where you said everything can be a book. And why would we want to do that though? Like, why bother writing a book?
Yeah. So this is the way I think it. I am learning so much, or I have learned so much in the last 5 years of my life. And where is it going to go? It's if when I die, it's going to finish with me. But what if I want to pass on this knowledge, not just to the next generation, but to the current generation, to the other people who are struggling to do the same thing? How can I do that in the best form? I can do it in two forms: write it in blog post or write it in a book. So blog post, I say, has a life of 1 week. A LinkedIn post or a social media post got a life of few hours.
Oh, really? Oh,
But a
gosh.
book has a life in decades, even centuries. So when you compile something in a book form and you print it and publish it, put it on a shelf, it stays there for uh, in your home for generations. And particularly if you have written the book yourself. So
Hmm.
I would want everyone to compile their knowledge in little buckets, little number of books. And I've written a blog post recently, 10 books every writer should write. And I've given a list in the Substack that you should put your knowledge in these containers and then keep it for others. And you can share it. So what I'm doing is, through everything is a book, I'm writing the book on fly every week. And then I'll put it in the book form and put
So,
it out
so
there.
you're just breaking your work up into manageable pieces and then
Correct.
publishing it, and then later you're just going to put everything in the book.
Yes.
You're going to
Yes.
compile the things that you've already written and probably edit it and do some minor changes, but now you're thinking with a plan, in other words, that you're going to make this into a book.
Correct. Correct. So I'll give you a very easy way to write a book.
Okay.
So I write 100-page books, and 100-page books is only needs only 20,000 words to fill 100 pages.
I'm
Okay.
sorry, how many words? Say it again. How many words?
20,000. 20,000.
20,000 for a 100-page book.
Correct. 20,000 words mean 10 chapters of
Okay.
2,000 words. And you can easily write a blog post of 1,500 to 2,000 words
Is that
every
what
week.
your blog posts basically are? They're that
Correct?
long? They're
Yes.
so fascinating. I read them so quickly. Okay. So those are about 2,000.
Yeah, not all blog posts of 2,000 words. So I actually condense them. So when the material goes in the book, I get to
You're going
expand
to
them a little
expand them.
more.
Right, right.
Yeah, but
Okay.
not this much expanding, just a little bit. Sometimes you need to give clarity, sometimes you need to add story. So I try to keep my blog post about 1,000 to 1,200 words,
Oh, I
not
see.
more than
Okay.
that, because it becomes too much to read otherwise. Uh,
Because
and
people are reading on their phones, right? I mean, that's what we have to
correct, correct,
expect when you write online. People are reading on the phone, and it's a different format than maybe a book, because I think we've learned from being online, you have to leave a lot of white space and you have to have simpler but when you write a book, it's a different set of rules, right?
correct. So I just finished writing my travel memoir. And from October to December, I was writing travel memoir. And in there, I was writing travel stories wherever I was going. And I was writing
So,
on the fly.
so they don't know, but you were traveling and you wrote while you were traveling to
Correct.
commemorate your memories, to cement what you saw, and then so while you're on the trip, is it in raw form and then you come home and then you fix it all up, or?
No. I was publishing it as it is
while you're
uh,
traveling.
while I was traveling. And I was also, from my writing, I was also teaching how others can write it. So each post had a writing exercise and that and a prompt, and also
Oh,
how they can develop that prompt. So I did that 3 months. It was an experiment, and I published it, and now I'm compiling it in a book form. Book is going to be 2 parts. One part is how to write a travel memoir, first part, and second part is my travel memoir. And in there are, so because I was writing on the fly and some days I couldn't write whatever I had seen, so those missing parts will go in the book as
okay.
well as what I have already published. And
Mhm.
same will go with my next book, which I'm writing for first 3 months of this year, which is My Life in 100 Objects. And it will have as many I can cover in 3 months will be there, and rest will be in the book.
Okay,
And
so for the listener, these are things that she talks about on her Substack. So if you want to, things that she's referencing, we'll give her Substack newsletter address at the end.
correct.
Yeah, yeah. And okay, so Neera, you seem to have a lot of ideas. Can you tell us where your creativity comes from, or how do you cultivate it?
Well, I think we are all creative. We just need to start doing stuff, and one thing leads to another. I didn't plan for anything. I didn't do anything for me to come to all these fields. These things came to me when I was doing stuff.
So you
Substack
just
came to
like
me.
did one thing and then you're like, why don't I try this? And then just like ideas came as you took one step in one direction, ideas came, you took another step, some more ideas. So you just waited for inspiration to kind of,
Yeah, well, once you start doing things, ideas won't stop coming. Actually, ideas, I have get so many of them that I don't have time to act on all of them. And here is my theory about ideas. My theory is each idea comes with energy attached to it. And
uh-huh.
that energy stays only for a little while. And your job is to take that energy and implement that idea straight away. If it is good, the energy will stay with you. If it is not good and you're not succeeding at it, the energy will die down and idea will die down.
Mhm.
So that's why I try to act on ideas as quickly as I can. And I'm
And well,
just
you have more hours
definitely
in the day than the rest of us, right? Because you just have endless ideas and productivity. And I have never met a more productive person in her retirement since you quit your job than you. And tell us your day. Like what time do you get up and what time do you go to bed? And
mm,
when are you working on your
ah,
stuff?
okay. So first of all, I'll mention this that I have written a book called Become a Productive Writer. And I've given everything I have done and tried and what worked for me in that book. So if you are interested, you can grab that book from Amazon. So coming back to my days, so I
Well, we'll
have,
put your books and things in the notes so the people can find them.
correct. So what I wake up with an alarm at quarter to 6. By 6, between 6 and 7, I got 1 hour to do 4 things. That 4 things are writing my diary, 10-15 minutes, doing a meditation, 10-15 minutes, doing a bit of yoga, 10-15 minutes, and then my fourth thing is planning my
Breakfast?
day,
Oh, planning.
planning,
Okay.
planning my day. And then I
Okay.
have
Meditation, yoga, journaling, or diary, you said, and planning your day.
planning. Yeah. And then my second alarm goes off, and then I have to get up and change clothes and go to gym.
Okay. Then you go work out.
Yeah, I
All
got to
right.
work out. Then I come back and I leisurely have breakfast. And between 9 and 10, I have breakfast and my LinkedIn post is due at that time, which I've been trying to do that beforehand, but is not happening. So I do it every day. I spend time on LinkedIn post. Some days I miss, but most of the days I get it out. And then after that, I have 2 hours of solid time to work on my project of the day. Whatever I have decided is the most important thing. If it is a newsletter day, then I'll write newsletter. If it's a blog post day, write blog post. If it is a book day, whatever it is, 2 hours. Then I take 2 hours between 12 and 2 is the lunch, doing the housework and doing other things.
You don't like housework, right, Neera?
Yeah. And then from 2 to 4, that's another 2 hours committed to projects and things. And means I've got different things planned for different days. And then 4 to 5, sometimes 4 becomes 4:30 or 5. But then I go for a walk. Whenever I get up, I go for a walk, finish my day with that, come back, have tea, make dinner, and then my husband and we watch TV. That's our time together. We like same things, thankfully. We like watching same things.
Mhm.
So we watch TV, and he's an early sleeper and wakes up early. So he goes to bed, and I get another hour to do anything I want to finish before the end of the day.
Okay,
So
so what time are you in bed?
by 11:30 max, I'm in the bed, sleeping. So
So
that's
it
my day.
sounds like 2, 4,
And
5,
5.
5 or 6 hours of
Five
productive.
hours, and morning is the planning and journaling time, and
Okay. Okay.
that's basically it. And I've worked in 15-minute snippets. I must mention it. I've been writing a lot about it.
About
15
what?
minutes, 15 minutes snippets. So I
Oh,
set
okay.
a timer. So if I'm writing a blog post, I'll set 15 minutes. I'll raise the clock, get as much in
At
as
50.
possible. So if I had after that, if I'm in the zone and there's nothing else, there's nothing boiling on the stove, or there's no doorbell or anything, I'll set it for another 15 minutes, right? For another 15 minutes. Then, so I extend it that way so that I know that in that 15 minutes, I need to finish something.
So it's kind of like the sense of urgency makes you feel like you have a little deadline, and
Correct.
yeah, so the
Otherwise, your
deadline
things will keep
inspires.
going. That otherwise it will never end. And I've been in that phase and know that. And even now, if I don't do it, it doesn't get done.
Okay. Well, what is the thing you're most proud of that you've done so far since you left your job?
There's quite a few, but I think I'm most proud of my books so far. So I've written 5 of them, and I have a goal to write 100 before I die, 100 books.
Okay,
And
when are you dying?
I'm planning for another 20, 30 years.
Okay. All
Uh,
right. So
and
you
actually,
have 95 to go in the next 20, 30. I think you're going to do it. I think you did
I'm going to do it.
in
Yeah,
5 years.
yeah.
I think you're going to do it. All right.
Yeah.
So what is one piece of advice you would give someone who is seeking to make meaning out of this last chapter? They finished raising their families, they finished working, and, relaxing is nice, but, how can we make more meaning out of the last chapter, the third chapter of our lives? What's your advice for that person?
I would say stop worrying about meaning. Pick one thing and start doing it. The other
Something you
things will
like.
come to you. Yeah,
Mhm.
because I was the one who was looking for meaning and all that, but then the gist of all that is which the people who have understood life, they say is there is no meaning to life.
Oh
You've
yeah,
got to make.
Sadhguru says it. Sadhguru says that.
Yeah,
There's
yeah,
no purpose. Just have
Yeah,
fun, do what you like.
yeah, you make the meaning. You make it mean whatever you want to. So I decided, okay, I like writing, I enjoy writing, it's giving me everything I want. So I'll take that, make my purpose of my help others write too. And if there are a bunch of people who want to write, here I am. I can help. Here you go. So that's how you make meaning for your life. You just pick anything.
How do you want to be remembered after you're gone?
Hmm. Well, I want to be remembered for my stories, basically. I'm leaving behind stories, stories from my life, stories of courage and story of doing things and story of just going there and getting into the middle of the things and not worrying about the what will happen. I want to be remembered for those. And not when I'm gone and dead and gone. I won't know what happens after that. But while I am alive, this is
Yeah.
what I want to be known for. Uh,
Would you ever consider writing fiction stories, or are you mostly interested in nonfiction?
Good question. I started with fiction and it's been sitting there. My first novel. It's been sitting
Awesome. Oh, that's one
there.
of the 100 books. That's one of the 100
Yeah,
books.
yeah, it's so I've been saying this to all my novel writing groups that I've got only a limited number of nonfiction books in me. Once those are done, then I'll jump into fiction. And I know
Okay.
once I jumped into fiction, I will probably not go back into nonfiction. So that's what I want to do. I want to just get it over with these nonfiction books I have in my mind, and then I will jump into fiction. And that's where the 100 books are going to come from, or probably 80 books are going to come from nonfiction.
Awesome.
Oh,
Awesome.
from fiction,
This
sorry.
has been such a great conversation with you. I am so inspired by you, and now I'm even more inspired by you because you really never have any excuses. You always find a way to get stuff done. And I'm sure there were obstacles in front of you. Number one was you didn't write English well. It wasn't your first language. And, for all of us who are native English speakers, like, we really don't have an excuse because you can learn anything right now in this world. Education is for almost free. You can learn anything. And so to finish up, how about you tell us how we can stay in touch with you, maybe link in with you, you looking for new connections, and also your work that you have out there on Amazon and books.
So for my books, go to Amazon, just Google my name. Oh, just search my name on Amazon. And then if you want to write books from your life, my Substack is the place to be. So everything is a book. It's neera.substack.com.
Okay.
And if you want to hire me as a ghostwriter for
Yes.
for setting your business up, I write build business stack for coaches and nonfiction writers who want to establish their business. So it's the full thing which you get you going and running from the day one.
I'm sorry,
So
I don't understand what you're ghostwriting a course for them, or?
now I ghostwrite a number of assets for the people who want to set up their business
Mhm.
on coaching business
Oh, I see. Coaching business. All right.
or want to their course online course if they want to do that. I I write the whole stack for you, which is consider consists of a lead magnet, which is an educational email course, and then a newsletter, and your make a strategy for your social media writing, and then how to convert those leads into clients, all that stuff. I help you do that and actually do it for you so that you're up and running
Okay,
from the day.
and also, what about if someone needs hand holding in writing their book? Are you a private coach as well for writing a book?
I have a course available,
Oh,
and part of that course is that I can do one-on-one coaching with
okay,
you. So you
okay,
you do the course and you hire me as a coach, and I'll work with you on that. So
Okay,
there's
well, you'll send
information in
me
the
this.
course.
Yes, okay, that sounds
There's
awesome. Sounds
information in the
nice.
course, and then there is private coaching attached to that.
Okay, all right. Well, thank
Mhm.
you, Neera. It's been so nice talking to you, and I wish you luck with the next 95 books, and I can't wait to see what you write next. So thank you.
Thank you, Lana. Thank you for giving me opportunity to talk
Thank
here.
you.